What if I told you that everything you know about running ads is wrong? I know because I've personally spent over $142,000 on ads testing every proven strategy people talk about online, and none of them ever gave me more than a 2 to 3x return. So I built my own system that consistently 11x'd my ad spend. Just last month, I spent $3,623 on ads that made back $44,261 in cash. As you can see here, this is new and old cash, so it's a little bit more than 44,000, but you can see all of the new payments coming in here. All of them high ticket payments, with the lowest being 2.5 and the highest being 10,000 euros. And the crazy part is that hardly anyone runs their ads like this, because I've spent the last year testing, breaking, refining until it actually worked like this. And no, you don't need a complicated GHL funnel, 20 hooks per creative, or a crazy structure inside the ads manager. It's simpler than all of that. And if you've been struggling to sign clients or generate results for your clients through ads, this video might fix this problem forever. But don't just take my word for it, because I gave this method to others, and Michael used it to turn $7,000 in ad spend into $70,000 in revenue in a month. Nico used it to scale a BizOp offer from 14,000 euros to 136,000 euros in a single month with 3.5k in ad spend. By the way, this is about like $158,000 in a month. And Niaz used it to generate $100,000 a month for his client just last month. Now here's a problem. Most ads waste money or massively underperform in 2025. Not because the market is saturated and they don't need your help anymore, but because there's so many people running ads and they're tired of trying to be sold by the same ads over and over again. Look, I know with ads, we mainly just look at numbers like cost per lead, click-through rate, cost per call, etc. But at the end of the day, those numbers are made out of real people that are just like you and me. So you really need to ask yourself, what makes you buy from somebody, especially when it's a high ticket offer? Because this is what we're selling as an agency or info or whatever kind of offer, right? The answer is trust. The one thing most of the market is lacking. Because running ads to generate 10 extras consistently does not come down to a secret ad targeting or structure in the ads manager. People tend to overcomplicate these things so much. It creates these crazy mirror boards that you don't even know what the fuck is going on, and they take simple concepts like targeting and lookalike audiences and make such a big fuss out of it, bro, when in reality it all just comes down to human psychology. So here's how we use human psychology to our advantage throughout this entire funnel in every single step to create deep trust with a prospect, where we convert in a way where we generate 10x what we spend on an ad. Every dollar turns into 10. So let me present the TTC framework. Look, I'm going to break this down step by step, show you exactly how these three ad creators here turn $3,623 with the exact funnel in between and the exact numbers in between into, at the very end, $46,000 in cash collected. And at the end of this funnel, I'm actually going to show you our exact appointment setting sequence that we use to stand out from these people that all look the same. And I'm also going to give you this KPI tracker right here that will probably change the game for you when it comes to running ads. So make sure to stick around until the end for that. But now let's start with phase one. Traffic. So the goal of phase one is to just capture attention and attract the right people. Look, we buy attention, not conversions. Okay, when we run ads, we don't really want people to buy from us. We just want people to know and that we actually exist in the first place. And so that heavily reflects on how we actually create these ad creatives right here. Now, the way I like to create top of funnel creatives is like this. I categorize them into three different categories, which is testimonial ads, where somebody actually talks about working with you and what kind of outcome they got. Creative, funny, and relatable ads. I'll show you an example in a second, and value-driven ads. All of them have a similar structure or have at least the same things within them, which is to address the audience. That can be direct or indirect. The direct way is obviously just to say your audience. For example, yoga coaches, you would just say it at the very beginning of the ad. I'm going to show you an indirect way, which I like a lot more. I'm going to show you examples of that. That is what I like to use because everybody is directly calling out their audience and it just is not a pattern interrupt. Then you want to talk about your audience pain points or desires. And then you want to create intrigue and CDA to more. This is all it comes down to really in an ad. But you have to really think about what makes you follow somebody on Instagram. And you shouldn't really think about this as in these are ads. This is just content that gets boosted out to more people that still just has one goal: to make people follow you, because these are profile visit ads where the only goal is to get people onto your profile and make them want to hit that follow button. And we do that by creating curiosity. So let me show you how some of these ads look. So the first version is a testimonial ad like this. I'm going to play the first 3 to 5 seconds. You can check this out though on my Instagram and see the full ad.
Started working with you. I was working as a flat tenant, so that's a shitty job. I was literally cleaning toilets at 37,000 feet. If you remember, I didn't have money back then.
So basically, as you can see, we're addressing the audience because he is the audience. We're talking about pain points because he's talking about his own pain points, which is the audience's pain points. And at the end, obviously, we create more intrigue and CTA to more at the end of this ad. The second one, which performed incredibly well, like this ad alone, which is actually organic, like we haven't even launched this as an ad yet, because sometimes, usually when you do really good ads, they perform well organically in the first place, and then you can run them afterwards. This is a creative, funny, and relatable ad right here. I'm going to show you the insights behind this ad. It got us about 116,000 views just organically, and it already has 4,600 likes, 3,900 comments, 2,000 saves, and almost 2,000 shares. And this one reel alone got us 2,202 followers, which were all very much highly qualified, and we haven't even run this and launched this as an ad yet, but we're going to do this very soon. When something performs well organically, you want to let it ride out the organic wave first before you launch it, otherwise Instagram will restrict its organic reach. But here in this ad, you can see how we called out the audience in a very subtle way almost by just saying POV, 18K a month agency owner losing another client. We use a viral moment at the beginning to actually capture the audience attention, as you can see here.
Oh, yes, he's my... Oh my God, there you go.
And then we transition over to me. It is an amazing hook, and that's why I got so many views already organically in such a niche market here. And then I talk about audience pain points and how I transformed it in something and create more intrigue. See how we do it with this ad creative here. That was me every single day. But here's what changed. Recently, I went from $23,000 to $81,000 a month within 90 days. So this already creates intrigue. How did you do it within 90 days? With 82% profit. And I'm adding more benefits, 82% profit, zero chaos. Zero chaos. Clients I love. I build a week by week breakdown, showing you exact. And now I showed that I build a breakdown and CTA to more. That is literally it. This is a almost perfect ad creative, as you can see. Already organically, it got us thousands of followers. And the last one here is a value-driven ad. This is way more specific and way more targeted. So this won't really perform well organically most of the time, but that's why we boost it. So it gets in front of the right people. And the best way to identify if these ads are still going to perform well as an ad, even though they won't perform well organically, because it's very, very, very niche, as you can see. If I play this here in a second, you'll see. But if I go into the inside, the way you can actually see if this will perform well as an ad is the save ratio. See if the save ratio is like close to 50%, that is insanely good. And when I say save ratio, I mean it got 437 likes and it got 207 saves already. So it has almost half the amount of saves as it has likes, which is really good, right? And so when you look at it this way, people are actually genuinely like saving this because they want to come back to this later. And that just shows that they value this information a lot. And you can see here, even in this ad, I call my audience out without directly doing it. I just say, you're here. That's literally like, look, listen to this. You're here. You've built something real, actual skills, clients, but your revenue hovers around the same number every month. No matter, and I don't even say you're an agency owner doing X, Y, and Z, because those ads, if you're blah, blah, like it's just not really working anymore because people have seen this over and over again. So this is a short insight into our absolute winning ad creatives. We spend about $3,600 in these, and I like to start them off at around 25 to 50 bucks a day per ad, and then you can ramp them up. If you have a 10x ROAS, then you will have to ramp up your ad spend. Anything above a 4x ROAS, you want to ramp them up. But I'm going to focus on KPIs in a second, so we'll dive into that in a lot more detail. But if you do this correctly, then your follower tab should look somewhat like this. It should be filled with actual qualified, perfect fit clients, just like this one right here. This is all in just a single day. So this is our Instagram strategy right here. As you can see, you can again testimonial ads, creative, funny, relatable ones, and fully focused value-driven ads. But one other tool that we use to generate traffic is organic content on YouTube. And on there, I like to do 2 content formats. First, the lifestyle content, like this one right here, and also value-driven content. And surprisingly enough, you guys really like these value videos and they get a lot of views. So what ends up happening is I actually get a lot of leads from this as well. And all of this attention that we generate through Instagram and YouTube goes down into phase 2, how we build trust. Now, this might be one of the most important phases in here, so I want you to listen closely. And don't forget that at the end, I'm actually going to reveal the exact appointment city sequence here as well. But for now, we have to focus on phase 2, because now we have to build trust. All this new attention, they don't really know us yet. They have no relationship built with us. So that's exactly what the goal is. Turn this attention that we've gotten into a relationship with them. Let's focus on Instagram first. So these creators and this $3,623 in ad spend brought us about 3,154 followers on Instagram. And usually we want to have a cost per follower of $1 to $10. The reason why this range is so high is because sometimes, like in this case, organic content comes in and really supplements the followers and brings down the cost per follower a lot. But if you just run ads and you don't have any organic content that goes crazy, then you should still be fine with the $5, $6, $7 cost per follower as long as you're getting the right kind of followers. I'm going to talk about rate of qualification of followers in a second so you understand what's good and what's bad. But once these over 3,000 people come in, but here's what you need to understand why we're able to turn such a large amount of this traffic that comes in, like from these 115,000 views into 2,000 followers. Because once these people are interested in this reel, they click onto our profile and we treat our Instagram profile like a landing page. Okay, so you can see mine, they jump onto this page and there are multiple things. First, there's my actual bio, which is optimized because the first line states what I do, the second line creates authority, and the third line has a CTA in it. I'm going to dive into this link here in a second as well. But essentially my bio gives them an idea of exactly who I am, what I do, and why they should listen to me. Then my first story highlight is a start here sequence, which gives them a lot of detail about me as well. Let me show you. This is the structure of our start here story sequences, which we put a lot of work into. First, you want to build authority. Okay, why should they even listen to you? Then you want to tell your story because everybody's story has an emotional turning point as well. So like, okay, this happened right here, but this wasn't always like this. Initially, my situation or, my client situation or whatever story you want to tell was like this. Then you give them backstory about you or your business or your agency and why they should even listen to you. Then you give them an epiphany moment of yourself. Okay, like this is what I realized, what I have to change. Then you explain your unique model and how you help your clients and how you approach this. And then you give them the financial and emotional payoff, like how this helped you, how this helped your clients. And then you have the CTA build up as well, where you build authority one last time, show exactly how many people you've been able to help with your model. And then you have a CTA to a VSL. And that's how you build out our story sequences. Just go into my profile if you want to check out in detail. But that's what they see as well, the first thing. So again, it creates authority and it tells about your backstory and it gives them a lot of trust right there. And then we have a 3-pin post, which we also use to create more trust immediately. So the first one is usually a story plus CTA. This is like the human side of your story, right? This is my human side. This is like how my dad passed away when I was young, how that was my driver in high school, and how I got to this point and how much I actually went through in that time. And this humanized me, right? Like people see me, okay, this guy is somebody just like you and I, like he's a normal dude. And the second one is a testimonial reel. Yes, this is the ad I'm running. I also have it pinned because you want to show proof right away as well. And the third one is one that builds authority. This is basically a different version of our start your story sequence where we also talk about the authority in the beginning and everything else. It's kind of just a post version of that. And what all of these 3 posts do, one of them humanizes you, the other one shows proof, and the other one builds authority, but all of them have one thing in common, which is that they build trust with your audience. You build trust with humans. You build trust through proof, and you build trust with an authority. But now before I move on to the YouTube side of things here in a second, I want to quickly show you what bad profiles look like from both an agency and an info perspective, right? So here we have an agency perspective. This one creates UK. I actually don't know these people, by the way, just people that follow me. So I thought I could critique them here in this video. But this one is a very bad example because this is a very low trust profile. See, this is an agency, creates UK, social media marketing agency, scaling brands with social first content, run my husband, wife do this, cool strategy content growth, book your free strategy call. Cool. So let me explain why this one right here is such a bad example of a profile. Okay, it's not the worst in the world, but I'm going to tell you why it's not good enough in this day and age, because this one is just a social media marketing agency. But the problem is it doesn't really build any trust. It's such a low trust profile because there's no pin post really apart from this one right here, which is not really impactful. There's no story being told, no story about the business, no story about the founders, no story about the person that runs it. Okay, they just said it's a wife and husband duo. This bio also doesn't really create any authority, which again then lacks trust with me as the person who views it. The first link that they have in bio and the only one that they have is a direct call booking link, but I'm not really going to book a call directly with them before building this trust. So this should have been a trust building and nurturing asset that I'm going to dive into in a second on how we do that in the YouTube section. But there's also no story highlights. Okay, there's no client results, there's nothing about them, there's nothing in the job on the side, and there's also no profile picture of anybody. Like if this is a wife and husband too, I would much rather have the wife and husband on the actual profile picture. So this is lacking a lot, even though I can see they put effort into the socials. So Creates UK, if you're watching this, just make these changes right now, because guys, when you have an optimized profile like this one, people will click on it, they don't really see any reason to follow, and they jump off again. So if you're running profile visit ads without an optimized profile, you'll literally burn your money. Because think about it, would I follow a profile like this if it looks just like another agency? No, I wouldn't follow a profile like this. But if this looks like 2 cool people that are building a business right now and helping their clients and achieving amazing client results, and I'd be interested in maybe a service like that, I'd probably follow. yeah. See, this one right here is an actual person on her profile, and she's a business coach. But the reason why this is such a bad example is because there's no real control of traffic. See, I click on this profile, I see so many different story highlights. I see a school link, I see another link to a different profile, and I don't really know what to do. Like, what's the actual next step for me? Do I go into school? Do I just check out inspo, Yap, testimonials, lifestyle podcasts, or any of the other stories that are maybe further right? Like, what do I actually do here? I have no idea. And there's nothing that just tries to build trust with me. There's also no pinned posts that really serve her much. You know, pictures with other people here, and maybe some authorities, but they don't really do much for her, honestly. Like, they don't tell her story. They don't tell who she is, and they don't tell why I should care about her. This one is cool. This one builds authority. She's speaking on a stage in front of a lot of people. I would keep this one and have a caption that would explain the story, but in general, this profile is just too confusing on what to do. Two better examples right here are my man Gael's and Michael's profiles, and because you can see, like, you jump on this profile, it immediately tells them what they do, and they also have a funny link, Cruise, which then is a VSL. I'm going to dive into that again in a second, but that VSL then has a job of building trust, telling the story, authority, etc. You can check this out as well if you want on Instagram, but they also have then the pinned post. Okay, building authority once again. So far in 2025, my clients combined signed 107 4 to 5 figure clients, hitting their first 10, 15, 20K a month. The guy, by the way, runs agency, scaling coaches. And you can also see it has a unique angle here, so they can secure their family's future. And, you know, a lot more of these pin posts are actually very good. The highlights are very good. Same here with Michael, scale a high ticket client from 16 to 98K a month in 45 days. Insane authority built right there. DME system, CTA right there, YouTube link right there, and then story highlights. And then here, massive authority and trust being built with the case studies that he has. Now, you might be wondering, what does this link right here actually lead to? That's just a deep link that now leads all of our traffic to our nurturing machine, which is YouTube. See, remember I mentioned that we post organic content on YouTube? Yeah, we do. And that got me about 417 subs in last month. I know it's not massive, but this makes a huge difference, because once my audience and the people like you right now are on YouTube, so you come here from Instagram, we just come here from other YouTube content, get onto this. You give me so much of your attention, and this increases conversion a lot. I've run the data. 95% of my clients that I've ever worked with have watched at least one YouTube video. So there's a good chance that you and I might be working together sometime soon. But the 3 first videos you want to make on YouTube when you start your channel or when you optimize your channel is your story video, like who are you and what happened. And it doesn't just always have to be about just you. It could also just be about your agency or your business in general. Okay, what is the story behind your business? How did you get to this point where you currently are? A VSL, I'm going to dive into it in a second, and an offer breakdown, where you just show what exactly would happen when somebody starts working with you specifically, okay? Especially if you're offering a B2B service, you want to have an offer breakdown video here. What I personally like to do a lot of times is combine the story video as well as the actual offer breakdown into my VSL right here. Because in the VSL, I can do all of that. I can tell my story, who I am, how I got here. I can show a lot of value, and I can also have a offer breakdown at the end. See, my VSLs are usually very technical because I am just a technical person, but I also like to work with people who are technical, and it's very value driven. So when you watch my VSL, you won't just be walking away feeling like, okay, this guy just tried to sell me something, but you'll be walking away like, fuck, this guy does know what he's talking about, and I might want to get more help from him. And I also map out my offer at the very end of it, so you're like, yeah, I know exactly what this guy offers and how I can help. So this is like this one conversion asset that people go to and can convert. Like, they watch this from beginning till end, they turn from an absolutely cold lead to somebody who's incredibly warm. And I can do a full video breaking down how to create insanely converting VSLs if you want me to. But this is what we want to have. And this is what we want to lead most of the traffic to. And this link right here, this directly is a deep link to the VSL. Deep link meaning it will open up the YouTube app on somebody's phone. So it won't open up a YouTube tab in Instagram, because then they won't be able to subscribe and comment and whatever. They won't be able to engage because they're not logged in there. It is a deep link. It opens up the YouTube app, and it goes straight here. That's the provider I'm using right there. But the last content type is obviously client interviews. Builds massive trust. I don't think I have to explain why, because that showcases your results, that you're legit, that you genuinely help people and businesses. And so what happens now is that all that traffic that comes up from the top that we pay all this money for actually gets incredibly nurtured. Like, you're watching this video right now, you're like, wow, this guy does know what he's talking about. You're in this exact process right now. And you can do this whether you run an info business or an agency or whatever, as you can see right here. This doesn't really matter, because you will attract people. It can also be an automation agency. You can also be a lead gen agency. It really works with any high ticket service based business where trust is this big lever that you can pull and start converting a lot more, because trust is key, it's essential for for a high ticket service. Nobody's just going to buy something for thousands and thousands of dollars or even tens of thousands if they don't trust you. So let's dive into the last phase, arguably the most exciting one, which is conversions. See, the goal of this third phase is to turn trust into booked calls and clients. And not only am I going to show you exactly how we turn these people into book calls into DMs, but I'm also going to show you exactly what the KPIs should look like behind it, what are good and bad KPIs, and then you can just steal the shit right here. So I want to focus on one conversion mechanism mainly in this video right here, otherwise this would be way too long. But we do also use webinars, which I can do a full breakdown on. Works really well for agencies, works again really well for high ticket offers. And we also do cold outreach WhatsApp strategy, which I've never broken down, but I'm happy to do that. But our main conversion mechanism that we use is just appointment setting. So now that we get these 3,154 followers, what ends up happening is a bunch of them already come to us as inbound leads, right? So like this person right here, where they already ask us about our service. So they might DM me the inbound word that you have in your bio, and you just ask them, hey, can you give me some more context on how exactly I can help you? And this one right here is content agency, give it a little bit more context. Maybe you have some time next week. Are you available? Yeah, sure, schedule, boom, that's done. Like that's inbound leads. That's how the YouTube really helps, okay? Because people will just literally come to you and ask you if they can work with you. And the other one is the outbound DMs, okay? Because there's a lot of people who follow, but are not really maybe 100% certain, and maybe they have some questions, but they also don't want to, reach out to you by themselves, because that's obviously quite a bit of friction. What we do now is we actually message the most qualified people. And what we don't do, bro, is this, okay? Are you looking good into this space? I appreciate you for the follow. I appreciate you for the follow. Were you just enjoying the content, or are you here for the fucking value? Appreciate the follow, bro. Everybody's using the same messages in the appointment setting, and I don't have no idea why. Why are they doing this? All we do in the appointment setting, once you have this big trust build up, is to just have a genuine conversation. And that's what we do every single time, right? So we send 1,251 DMs. And some of them won't respond, as cool, but we have like 230 conversations, something like that. And those are just genuine. Like I just messaged somebody with, yo, bro, just a genuine connection. Then we send voice notes back and forth, because this is it should be an actual human interaction. Like you want to genuinely see if there's any chance you can help somebody out, bro. And you want to have genuine curiosity. Like, how long have you been in this space for? What are you actually doing? About 1.5 years. And even when we want to drive the conversation forward, right here, you can read the whole chat, by the way. Like I'm not gatekeeping. I'm just not going to read everything for you, but you can read the whole thing. We follow up in a way that where we're never needy. I'm just like, yo, what's up, bro? Been good, man. Identify the pain. What do you feel like is the biggest thing you're struggling with in the business right now? Just, simple question. Booking appointments. Well, that's something that we might be able to help you with, right? So then we continue the conversation here, and we see if they're open for help. Depending on where you're at, maybe it's a good idea to chat now. Happy to go over everything, maybe next week, down for that. And then he just asked for some case studies, who I help, wanted to get nurtured a little bit more. Apparently our nurturing machine didn't quite work at that time. Maybe it just didn't go through YouTube as much. And you can see here, our results did the talking, and he was impressed. Damn, let me review this, because we took Gael. The guy I just showed you, by the way, from 500 euros a month to 17k in a single week this month. But essentially he checked it out. He was like, cool, that's crazy. I dropped even more value, insane amount of value, like actual private resources that I actually don't even share in my YouTube. How we build out our outreach systems and everything behind it. It's just so much value in these DMs, that even more value, a private recording of a group session I had with, that was paid for. Shared that with him as well. I said, gonna watch it, and then it just no pressure, like genuine want to help. Let's have a chat about it, because he wasn't sure if he wants to invest into ads or mentorship or whatever. I said, let's have a quick chat about it. We'll see what's best for you. Because I want to not just sell somebody something. I want to see what is best for them. Because if I work with somebody and I end up not being able to help them, why did I actually work with them? So we jumped on a call. At the end of the day, it did make sense in both of our eyes for me to help him. So at the end, I actually started, and so at the end, he actually did convert into a client, and I started helping him now build his business. Now, the key thing you want to notice here is that we have 1,251 DMs sent out, just like this one right here, to the most qualified people. And we have 230 combos, and we have 63 call applications. So 63 people actually wanting to book a call with me, but we rarely accept them actually. We only have actually 16 calls qualified after those 63 applications, because we want to work with very, very specific people who we know we can help the most and the best and the most effective way, and deliver the actual craziest service you will have ever seen in your life. That's what we're here for. So we don't want to just take everybody or anybody, even if they want to give us money. We will refuse it, okay? Because this call application not only comes down to maybe somebody being financially unqualified, but also just somebody we don't really think that we can help the best once they actually give some more details about their business. So out of the 63 call applications, we only verified 16. Then we took 16 because we had a 100% show rate, and we closed 11. And we collected $46,000 in cash and contracted about $64,000. So now you might be wondering, like, what do these numbers actually mean, right? What are good numbers? What are bad numbers? When do I need to change something? When should I not change anything? When should I increase my ad spend? And when should I decrease it? And when should I taste new ads? And I hear you, because obviously, yeah, if you have a good ROAS, you just like spend more. But if you don't have a good ROAS, like, what does it actually come down to? And that's what this magic KPI tracking sheet right here is for, because this basically tracks our whole funnel left to right, from the traffic section, which is like how much we spend money on ads and then how many followers we get, to the trust phase, where we then have inbound leads, qualified leads, and then build more trust with them through content, and then also the conversion phase, where obviously these two here overlap because we convert them while we kind of still build trust in the DMs, etc. And here you can see all of our KPIs, right? Like about 3,100 followers, we message about 1,250 of them, and then about 19% actually turned to conversations. So we had 232 combos. 27% of them actually turned to call applications. And we filtered by unqualified and qualified. So here, as you can see, a decent portion of them was unqualified. Good amount was financially qualified, but then we still only took actual 16 qualified calls, because again, we're very selective with who we work with. And then we took all 16 of them. We had 100% show rate, and then we closed about 11 of them. So about almost 70 or 69% closing rate right here. And then we had 46,000 in cash collected, and then 63,000 revenue, or about 64,000 revenue. So this is money that will still be paid by the clients. So let's break down what are good and bad KPIs and when do we need to change anything. So first, here are our costs, okay? Our cost per lead, cost per call, and cost per acquisition. Now, our cost per lead in this example is like $1 something, which is crazy low, but it's only so low because the organic content really did its job. But usually we should have a cost per lead of about $2 to $10, and that's totally fine. Okay, and when I say cost per lead, I mean cost per follower. Now, as long as they're actually decent qualified, but I'm gonna dive into like what is a good qualification rate right here. Our cost per call here was $226. That is decent. Our good cost per call is about $100 to $400. If you can get it lower than that, obviously just get it lower than that. Our cost per acquisition was around $330. You can see that this right here is, when you consider that we sell high ticket, so multi 4, even 5 figures, this is really nothing. And a good cost per acquisition is usually between $200 to $1,000. Honestly, you can get even higher than that, man. Like honestly, like we're selling, a lot of agencies, a lot of people that I help also sell offers at $20K. But usually the amount I'm ready to spend to acquire a customer is kind of what they will pay me initial payment. Say you sign up an agency client for like $12K, so about $2,000 a month for 6 months on a contract. So I would like to spend about $2,000 to get that client maximum. So I will break even on the first payment, and everything after that will be profit. But usually, as you can see, we can get away with spending a lot less than that if our funnel is actually built properly. And here's what good KPIs actually should look like, okay? So imagine you have a $200 ad spend. With that, if your KPIs are decently good, you should get about 100 followers, okay? And it could be less than that, honestly. Like you could even get only like 10 to 15 really qualified followers, and it's still worth it. But I need to give you one example here. So say you get about 100 followers if your cost per lead is about $2, okay? Now with 100 followers, about 30 to 50 of them should be qualified, okay? If less than those are qualified, then you might be doing something wrong with your messaging, etc. Let's just say it's 40%. So 40% are qualified, so we DM 40 people. Now our DM to convo rate should be between 20 to 30%, ideally. Okay, it can be a little lower, a little above that. With that being said, about a 25% DM to convo rate should lead to around 10 conversations. Now our convo to callback rate should be also about 20 to 30%. So everybody we actually message, 20 to 30% of them should about book into appointments. So we should have now 2 to 3 appointments booked out of 10 conversations. Okay, our show rate should be very high with this trust-based funnel, so at least 90% here. And we should take about 1 to 3 live calls. And if our closing rate is 35%, we might not close anybody, but the best we can probably do is close about 1. And if you're selling high ticket, that should be at least a 5 to 10x on cash. Say you close somebody for like at least 2,000, you should have already made 10x on cash collected. Now these numbers don't always work out like this, and obviously you might have like 1 to 3 calls, maybe you have only 1 call, and then you close at 35%, so you don't close this call. That's why our cost per acquisition is now $330 and not $200, because usually we won't just close 1 out of 100 followers. But this is kind of the ratios that we want to have. Guys, if you want to have this KPI tracker right here, as well as this full KPI breakdown right here, or even just this full Miro board, whatever, just message me on Instagram. It's in the description, and I'll send you this full Miro board so you can analyze my ads, analyze my appointment setting, get this, link to this actual KPI tracker. I'll put it in here as well as get this cheat sheet KPI breakdown right here. So just message me. I'll send this all over to you. Messaging me, you will also see my optimized profile. So you might also want to slide in my DMs. I can see if I can help you out. All right. I'll see you over there. Take care. Bye-bye.